Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Excuse me. I'm feeling in a good mood here. There are a few different things that I would like to roll out this month. And it's just, when you're a water sign, it's all in your head and it kind of just combobulated and it's everywhere. But I do have some exciting stuff coming this month. If anyone is new here, my name is Ashley Indigo. I hear, I see, I feel. So I'm here to help you see what you can't see, to help you hear what you can't hear, and to help you feel what you cannot feel. We live in a very multi-sensory world, and a lot of us are limited to the five senses. But as things take off and as things move, we'll find that we are moving towards something more authentic. We are moving towards, sorry if you can hear my laptop, I got to take it in. It's having an issue here. The devil's always busy with me and this laptop and these technical difficulties, but I will not let them persevere. Anyways, as we move into 2022, if we had all the twos together, we got six. We're going to be looking for things that are more authentic. I will talk about that a little bit later. Today, what we are doing, loves, is we are going to go ahead and do the collective read. Everyone is not going to resonate with the message. So as you go through, take what resonates, what does not, leave it. It's not a big deal. This isn't about reading the future. This isn't about being a fortune teller. I work for God. He is my CEO. I move how he asked me to move. I move in the ways that I see fit, not just for myself, but when it comes to everyone, what's best for everyone involved. Once we move into the sixth space, the 2022 year, and we're operating from the heart, everyone will realize that we've kind of been doing this life thing wrong. We're always focused on our goals and what's best for us and how we can get ahead. And we do that sometimes in a way that makes it seem like, this is just a mission for it's just all about ourselves, the dog eat dog world, but really it isn't. It is about, showing up and being of service for others. God did not create us to not worry about others. And when I say worry, I don't mean worry about others in a sense of like a sick worry, a really sick thing. I'm not even talking about really empathizing with people, but learning to just sympathize with people and help where you can and not feel like it's inconvenient to you, but feel like it's something that's helping you grow as an individual. When we get closer to being who God created us to be versus being who this world has made us, then we can, move forward. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do our collective read. I like to use my Light Seekers deck, the tarot. This is just one of those that me and this are one of the same. It's like when you get a deck of cards, especially me, when you pick them and you just kind of know. Like, I just feel my vibes. Like, everything has a vibe, so all the decks have a vibe. So this is the one that I pick. I'm newer to tarot, but I can read anything that has a picture, number, and color. So I just follow my intuition. That's why I say everybody is not, everybody has different gifts, but everybody is not meant to be a reader. Society has kind of made this like like just you'll go to a carnival and it's an entertainment value and blah, blah, blah. And while people do find entertainment in the cards, it's just about helping people be able to get clear and see exactly what the message is. Like I said, it's not about reading a future. I don't do this for, I don't treat it like it's an entertainment value. I don't treat it, I take it in my delivery. I'm very serious. How someone chooses to take that message and how they decide to move forward with that message, that's up to them. But I'm serious in my, in my delivery and in my, what I believe to be true. Everyone isn't going to resonate with everything. But I'm hoping that if you are here, it is because we are like-minded and because we resonate. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and use that deck. And then Loving Words of Yeshua. I'm hoping, what I'm really wanting is someone to just do. I've never really kind of seen a deck like this. I know right after Doreen Virtue made this deck, then she was done. And it always concerns me when people say Jesus came to them sometimes, because he don't look like that. I mean, I know it's just that the illustrator, Greg Olson, he did a beautiful job on these cards. But all right, so anyways, moving on, y'all, because y'all know I can talk. 11 words. So we're going into the collective month. We're in December? Okay. And we're still under Sagittarius energy. We're still in the energy field of Sagittarius. So when I think, okay, when I think Sagittarius, I think a hard worker. I think think about someone who's blunt. I think about someone who's the best in their field. That's a fire sign. So I think about somebody who's getting shit done. And that's the energy that we're in. Whereas, the holiday season, what's crazy is it usually makes people feel sluggish. They're tired. They don't want to do anything. But this year, especially because I feel like a lot of us have a comeback coming. And it's this comeback is personal. I've watched a lot of people do a lot of shitty things, having some trouble with their lives. And I've watched a lot of people that work diligently, like myself, to be not perfect, but whole, start to get blessed. I'm kind of in a place where I don't worry about what other people doing. And I tell people, let the things that are going on in your life, let the way you live your life be an example of how you're doing in this world. And I don't mean like money wise. Anybody can have money. But if you have $0 in your wallet, your bills are paid, you have a roof over your head, you're highly respected, you're doing everything that you need to do, you sit down and you have conversations with God, talk to him about the things that need to be talked to. I think that you're doing okay in life, because at the end of the day, when we move into 2022, we're moving into 6 energy. 6 is all about spending time with the higher self, the 3-year-old part of us. If you don't know anything about that, but by now you should, then we need to go look at those inner child videos I have, or just Google it. But we're going to be wanting something authentic. And that's the thing about the Sagittarius. That's how you feel that coming up. A Sagittarius just ain't with the fake shit. So there ain't going to be no phony foo-foo this Christmas. It's all about being real. It's all about being authentic. And you have to harness that Sagittarius. What the fuck? Sagittarius energy. You have to harness that. One thing that I'm going to do, y'all, is when I do these videos, I get so excited and I just get the moving. I get so fast. So I review these videos. I watch all these videos, of course, because a lot of times when I'm in it, I'm just in it and I'm not thinking about it. And so I've promised myself to slow down. I get so excited that I feel like I'm not putting everything out there clearly. And the thing about spirit, the thing about God is it's a slow process. It's not anything where it just needs to shoot out. You know what I'm saying? It's a process of peace. It's a process of just really feeling it out. So one thing that I'm trying to work on is like slowing down, making sure that I'm using the correct words, making sure providing the correct information. That's something that I want to give to you guys, because all of this is a lifestyle. This isn't just something that I hop up and do and I'm this person it's a whole lifestyle, and it's a different lifestyle than the one we're taught here to live on earth. Okay, so let's get into it, y'all. All right. Okay, we've got some good things here, some good things. Okay, so the first thing that I have here is 12, the Hanged Man. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what I see, and then we'll get into what I do. So this is for the collective, y'all. This is for everybody. Take what resonates. What does not resonate probably isn't for you. This is the collective, so it's hard to have a pinpoint on the collective. But because we're all connected and we all share, same energy, because we feed off of each other's energy and this is why you can do a collective, okay? The Hanged Man. I see a woman, who she is upside down. Her eyes are closed, actually, and she's about to be dipped down into the water, but she's doing it with grace. So when I think about water, I think about emotions. Okay, so those are going to be our water signs. That's going to be our Scorpio. That's going to be our Cancer. That's me. That's going to be our Pisces. Those are our water signs. One theme that I have kind of seen as we continue to move towards out of 2021, the year of letting things go, and into 2022, the year of self-love. That's what I'm going to proclaim it, a self-love year. The this person is welcoming her emotions. And the theme that I've noticed for everyone is everyone is in their feels from all the shit that's happened since 2022, COVID-19, all the bullshit. People are in their feels. And where a lot of people, well, I won't say a lot, where some people have had problems navigating through their emotions, probably our air signs or our earth signs, fire, pretty much anything that's not an emotional sign. They may have had trouble traveling through their emotions, whereas there have been some people who are learning to be emotionally intelligent. I feel that with the water signs because I am a water sign. I've worked a lot on emotional intelligence, but another thing too is a lot of people getting clean, a lot of people getting sober, a lot of baptisms. The water, this person, I feel like baptism, a lot of renewal, a lot of being cleansed. This girl welcomes that vibration. She welcomes that, that cleansing, and she welcomes what comes with it. She has faith. She's got God's grace, very equivalent to the sunlight. But the card was upside down. Okay. I don't think, how do I put this? I feel like some of you have been in a situation where you've been forcing yourself to change, forcing yourself to grow. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. But I almost feel like people are forcing these things to happen, but aren't cleansing themselves properly. Like it's kind of like one of those things where the three energy is not lining up. You're talking about it, you're thinking about it, but you just haven't quite got into the action. I want to just take this back a little bit, everyone, and I want to reiterate what I said a couple seconds ago. This, the conversations with God, the talks about God, the different things that I do to try to manipulate my own energy so that it's positive, the choices that I make, the things that it is a lifestyle, which means I don't sit here and I try not to preach at all. I try not to sound too preachy, but if that's how someone takes it, that's how someone takes it. But I can't sit here and say all this. I can't sit here and be this person with y'all. I can't sit here and share this space with y'all if I'm not going to be authentic. Like I said, I don't just turn into this person when the camera turns on. I live this shit. This is a lifestyle. And I see some people that are not fully embracing their changes. Though what I sense, and this is too energy, is I feel like people are not embracing the changes because it either feels cheesy, it doesn't feel realistic. You still hang out with people who do things that go against the grain of the new lifestyle that you're trying to live. I feel two is all about connection. So I feel like trauma bonds. We're still holding on to trauma bonds. We're still holding on to our party buddies, not realizing that the only thing we have in common with our party buddies is that they're just simply party buddies. They're not friends. So that means if you have a party buddy that you drink with, you get fucked up, you do drugs with, and then you have something monumental happen in your life, like a funeral, or there's one energy here too, new beginnings, a funeral, or a wedding, maybe a wedding. I wouldn't even say a wedding because people like to come there and drink all the booze. I'll say a baby shower, something of the sort, some new beginning, some joyous moment in your life. And you realize that they were always down to do a bag of blow. They were always down to smoke. They were always down to get drunk. But now they're not down to come to the baby shower. They're not down to come to the birthday dinner. They're not down to show up when your grandma or grandpa passes. Those are trauma bonds. When we learn what a trauma bond is, we learn to not take shit so personal. Because if I've identified, we'll say Seth, if I've identified that Seth is a trauma bond, and I've said, you know what, Seth is a trauma bond. Me and Seth bond over the fact that we've had rough childhoods. We bond over the fact that, we both had someone who cheated on us. We bond over the fact that we struggle with addictions. We bond over our traumas. We're trauma bonds. And what will happen is 9 times out of 10, when there's two people and this happens in relationships, that's why so many people have been broken up. When there's two people and they're both in their traumas, and then one person says, okay, I'm going to heal. Now, when we heal, it's like when you go to AA, you have to change your life, okay? And this is why God is so important, because when we feel that hold on us and we feel like we can't change our life, He helps us to see that there is light past that. Even in the dark, there's always light. Just like they say, good always wins. It's that same situation. Good does always win. Light always wins. Light can make it dark. Light can make a dark room bright. But dark can't technically shut out a light, because a light always shines. Okay? When one person decides to heal from those trauma bonds, now these people we'll say, because you can be unevenly yoked, which just means like we're not on the same page. You can be unevenly yoked in a friendship, okay? So what happens is when one person's healed, now, of course, your interests have changed. Now you want 6 energy. You want things that are going to penetrate the heart. But this person is still very much, we'll say material. There's not really too much, I feel like, a number for. It's just an unhealed person. So if you take a number and you flip that number into an unhealed aspect, if you understand numbers, anything that the positive of a number means, the negative of a money means. Or the negative a number means. I think I might open up something where I teach numbers soon. Because before there was anything, there was numbers. So numbers is like communication. If you understand numbers, then you can understand anything. When one's healed and one is not healed, let me get back on the message. Now there's no longer anything. There's no reason. And what happens is, because this person is still in their trauma and now you've healed their trauma, Satan will try to work on this person in their traumas. Okay. And so Satan might start telling this person, oh, they think they're better than you. They think they're this, they think they're that. And what people don't understand is healing is personal. I don't heal so that Jim can like me more. I don't heal so that I can make Katie. I don't heal so that I can make Katie feel good. I heal for me. And if I have children and I have ancestors, which we all have ancestors, then I'm healing my lineage. This is very personal. So us people that are moving towards the 6 energy and welcoming it need to learn that we're going to lose friends. You're going to lose jobs. You're going to lose relationships. You're going to lose. But with God on your team, there's never really any loses. There's no losses, baby. There's only wins. There's only W's. Okay? Have faith, embrace the light, follow the tunnel. God loves everyone so much, but some of you just haven't gotten to the action part. Some of you aren't welcoming it. It's like this. We're in right now, the phase that we're in is the many will be called, few will be chosen. Many people will be, you'll hear that whisper in the night. You'll feel like it's time to make a change. And I'm not talking about like a little inkling. I'm talking like a deep down in your soul. I'm talking about like if you drink, you might find yourself holding the bottle crying. You know what I'm saying? Like your soul is tired. 6, your soul's always going to fight, because God's always going to fight. But if you don't choose him, don't expect him to choose you. Many will be called. He will call many of us. This right here, this is me answering the call. Many of us will be called. Few will be chosen. That tells you right then and there that he knows everybody isn't going to choose him. It's sad. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt him. It does. But part of the contract was free will. So if you don't have the sense to let go of everything that you've ever learned, even down to identity, let go of everything that you've ever learned, to relearn again, to reparent yourself, to reteach yourself, okay? if you are having trouble embracing the new, if you are having trouble embracing what comes with your new life, what comes behind the new doors that you have opened, get with your water sign friends, get with your cancers, okay? Because cancers are motherly, so cancers are going to baby. It just depends on what type of teaching style you want. Cancers will baby you through a situation, okay? They will baby you through a situation, okay? Pisces, they're probably just going to be like, fuck all bullshit and tell you they're not the greatest listeners, but they may have some solid advice, okay? Because once a Pisces mind is made up about something, and a Scorpio energy, if you resonate better with tough love, you might want the Scorpio. If you want to hear the truth, which I feel like a lot of people need to accept truth, you might want to get with your Scorpios. I think a Cancer might try to baby the message a little much. I'm a Cancer, but my Scorpio moon is why I'm able to talk how I talk. And like I said, a Pisces, they might not want to hear that shit, but they'll tell you what it is, okay? So 1 and 2 is 3. Higher self energy. Tap into that inner child. The inner child is calling everybody. Everybody's inner child is calling you. We are all fucked up from childhood, okay? We have all seen horrible things. You know what I'm saying? We've all experienced things. There's not one person on this earth that can invalidate who you are, what your story is, where you come from. I don't want to say suck it up, buttercup, because that seems insensitive. And everybody doesn't need to hear that. What I do want to say is, baby, don't you want to be healed? Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to learn? You know, you're still 3. You're still very much 3. The 3-year-old did not die. If you liked pudding cups when you were 3, you still like pudding cups today. Okay? Inner child, embrace the inner child. Embrace the fear of the unknown. Embrace your shadow side. If anyone is having trouble seeing, if anyone is having trouble hearing, if anyone is having trouble feeling, contact me. All my information is down at the bottom, and we can try to get clarity. If money is an issue, contact me, okay? Contact me and we can work something out, okay? If for me, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. I just put a price so people don't waste my time and so that I don't waste theirs. But this shit ain't about the money, okay? It's not about the money. We're all in this together. But at the same time, if some people will spend $15 on a bag of weed, but you can't spend $15 on, something to help clarify your future, I can't take you seriously. I'm sorry, okay? So if you want to know anything, if you want to get clarity for you, always contact me. Now, I'm going to do the monthlies, okay? But there's email information there. There's page information. Get at me, okay? Queen of Swords. So, Swords. That is our air energy. So that's going to be our Gemini. That's going to be our Libra, and that's going to be our Aquarius. It's all about emotion here, really. She's got an emotional flag, but Swords is air energy, but she's over water. Right here is a bowl, okay? It's got a cup. It's got a bowl right here, and the bowl is in jail, okay? It's got a triangle up here. Triangles have to do with emotions. This is that emotional intelligence. Congratulations, people. Some of us have learned to not just pop the fuck off. And Swords, this is air energy. So air energy. Good fucking job. Like I said, let's take it from the top. That is our Aquarius. That is our Libras. That is our Geminis. You guys are learning how to think before you speak. That's a part of the process of healing, okay? Learning how to think before you speak. I feel like some of you are learning to get a hold of your emotions. We'll be learning to get a hold of your emotions this month. I see somebody who's just slaying that shit. She's got a sword. She's a queen. She's a bad bitch. She's a boss, okay? She is a boss. he, she, whatever, but just the woman. But it would make sense as a woman, because usually when we think of like emotions, think of like feminine energy, which is a lot softer, and it has to do with emotions. And I feel like you are having, usually when people think of crows or like a blackbird, they think of like death. The way that I look at this card too, because we can always look at birds as like a spirit animal or like an ancestor, someone who's passed, no matter the color. Because we have to get out of the stigma of thinking that black is always bad. That's not necessarily, black doesn't always mean something bad. Black could mean serious. Black could mean mature. Black could mean dark. Dark doesn't always necessarily mean bad. Dark can represent the unknown. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at things. This person has their emotions in check, and they're just bossing this shit out. She is monitoring. They're aware of surroundings at all times, but I feel love and support because the sky's here. I feel heavenly love and support. So ancestors that have passed, I talk about those a lot. Because every day when we make actions, we pay tributes to our ancestors. If I had good people in my bloodline, which I know I did, and I become a good woman, I pay a tribute to them, because it's everything in them that made me. When we think about things in terms of DNA, this shit goes deep, y'all, deep, okay? She's just got her emotions on lock. She's got her shit in check. She's bossing it. She's getting through. She's a warrior. She's a leader. She's leading. So I might see some air signs, my air signs, stepping up into leadership roles. Being in charge of something. Or being the shoulder to I was going to say the shoulder to cry on, but I don't get that energy. Not the shoulder to cry on. Being just a trusted friend that someone could come and talk to. Because you're in a great space mentally. Your mental's clear. Be careful though. Do not allow people to emotionally dump on you. When people emotionally dump on you, you just want to make sure that you clean yourself off. Salt baths. Anything to manipulate, your energy, anything to get the bad energy off of you. Some people do sage. My about sage because of a little vision that I had. Sage, I actually learned, is one of those things that's kind of like really like genuine, real sage is hard to get a hold of. So if you're buying sage, you may want to look into your sellers. You may want to see where they're getting it from, because things hold energy. People can put bad energy into sage, believe it or not. And then when you light it, it goes out your home. I've seen this. If you know what I'm talking about when I'm telling you, I've seen this. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. So just be very careful. I'm not going to tell anyone to don't use anything, but just check on your sellers and your carriers if you're buying things like sage, Palo Santo. See the sources that this stuff is coming from. But that still doesn't replace prayer. Psalms 91 3 times over the home. Okay. And then, like I said, you can always Google other verses that we may need when it comes to, but our home is that's where we go to rest our head at night. So we're just making sure that, if people are emotionally dumping, you're cleaning yourself off, and you're, if it's something that's stuck here and you're thinking on it, just making sure that it's something that, at the end of the night, you are able to separate yourself. Okay. I feel like too, air signs, some of you may be looking into getting more involved with emotional health. Whereas emotions may not have been something that you were comfortable with in the past, even talking about them just was like, no, not me. Emotions, especially Aquarius. And because you guys are such great communicators, my air signs, you guys have really good, you have good communication skills. You may be able to, if you can combine that intellect with allowing yourself to feel emotions and thinking about that together, you would be a great counselor, therapist. If you feel the need to work with children, I say children because children are our future, and there's some fucked up ass adults, parents, guardians out here. Sorry, you guys. I have a little itch. I'm gonna do the cheat. Yeah. I feel like some of it, you might feel empowered in this situation, some of you, and go with that. You might for once feel like you finally have control over your life, control over your emotions. Okay. Now keep in mind, all of this is the general, but when I call out specific signs, it's because this is something that may be affecting you the most. Okay. Seven of Swords. Okay. Swords is my air signs again. Okay, so we've got a lot of intellect. I feel like for everyone, people are starting to get out of their feelings because of all the crazy ass shit that's happened over the past couple of years. Even some of us that aren't comfortable with it are getting, and we're combining our feelings with intellect, which is right in time for 6 energy, self-love, year of self-love. Seven of Swords. Okay, 7 is rewards. 7 is God's favorite number. Okay, so when we think of 7, we think of rewards. You can even think of 7 as spirituality. It's just a good omen when we see a 7. Like if you go to a casino, at the one around here, the address is 777, blah blah blah, and their logo's got a 777 on it. That's probably why they use 777. Anything in multiples of 3, it's magic. Okay. 7 of Swords. I see someone who is on some like thief in the night shit. A vigilante. They have the moon on them. These are warriors. These are God's people. People are still in that process of waking up. Yes. People are still in that process of healing. But I feel like the recruits, the ones that are answering that call, and I feel like, baby, if you're here, it's because you're ready to answer the call, or you're mid-call. You're answering your call. I feel like this person is doing what they said they were going to do. I feel like the programming is starting to wear off. The spells, the many spells in the Matrix are starting to wear off. I feel like this person is protected. Feathers is usually a sign of angels. Like I said, no matter the color, come away from the color and look a little bit more on the message. This person is ready to fight. They're ready to fight for God. And when I say fight for God, there's so many ways we fight for God, okay? We fight for God when we decide to change our life. We fight for God when we decide to change who we hang around if they're not good for us. We fight for God when we see that, when we notice and admit that our children are suffering behind our bullshit and we hold ourselves accountable. We fight for God when we go out into the world and we're kind. We fight for God when we donate to the family on the corner with no money. Now, I didn't say that the family on the corner's mom or dad isn't a junkie. I didn't say that they don't have a drug problem. But that's for the consequences for God to take care of. It's about what's in your heart that's going to get you far. People are ready to fight for God. They're ready to be authentic to themselves, because that 6 energy comes with the 7. That's the reward. When we show up as God's people, when we start acting like who God created us to be and less like people of this world. When you read the Bible, especially nowadays, a lot of shit starts to get decoded. And very quickly in there, you start to notice that when Jesus speaks, when God speaks, and they talk about here and they talk about heaven, they refer to this place as this world. And they'll say the prince of this world. So you see very quickly in there and I'm studying the Bible as we speak. I'm not just reading it. I'm studying it like in correspondence with other other articles, other books, because you have to, it's the book of all books. Like I've got an African spirituality book that I'm reading along with my Bible, with a workbook that I'm reading, with a King James version and a contemporary English version. I have, because it takes that type of studying. It's kind of like being on Google with 8 tabs open. It's like 8 different books open, okay? So we're all in this together, okay? But, you notice in there how it talks about this world. It very easily separates this world. And you notice how God really takes no ownership over this world because he's not in charge here. And that's what people don't realize. That's why when we come to this, when we leave love where God is and we're born into sin, that's because the whole land is ridden with sin. Okay? Children are born into sin because we pick up people's perverse, weird, strange ways when we come here. And we know better till we don't know better. And if our parents aren't around reminding us that there is a God, if our parents aren't taking the active role in teaching us who God is, some of us don't get to find out till we're adults and we fall short. And before you know it, we've already lived this whole other life never knowing there was a God, and then we fall into shame because we start to feel like, oh, I've already done this and I've already done that. How can he ever love me? He never stopped loving you. Never. Even when you don't choose him, he still loves you, but your ass ain't saved from the wrath. I'm sorry. Like sometimes love has to be hard. Sometimes love has to be cut cold dry. Sometimes love has to be accountable. You know, that's why as we move into the sixth, we have to, as we move into the 6th year, we have to learn how to hold, as we move into the 6th year, we have to learn to, well, naturally our heart space is opening up. Our heart chakras are opening up. Lots of pink and lots of green people to heal it. We're going to want more authenticity. No more fake jobs. No more fake relationships. No more fake friendships. I mean, this is the time where when people speak God's name, we're going to demand respect on his name or they can get moving. That's what we're doing in December. All of God's people, all the light. This is what I get. See, light. And he's got a knife in there. Warrior. Light warrior. Light warriors. Light workers. God's people. People out here spreading positive light. People out here delivering messages that you can actually feel the upliftment of their message. We are starting to fight. We are going to come through. We are going to take care of the injustices. God is taking care of a lot of justice right now. He's getting a lot of justice for people. And in order for this plan to move smoothly, he's going to have to use some people because, you know, he's not a physical entity. But sometimes things that happen in his order, they need to take place on a physical realm. So because it's not like he can just poof, you know what I'm saying? Or it's not like it's not like he's going to do that. He has to use people. And so the people that he's going to be using is his people, the warriors. This is a warning that shit's going to get real. But you're going to fight through it, baby. You're going to fight through all of it. You're even wearing the little, I want to say this is like a white hoodie. It's just got shadows on it, and that's what makes it gray. But you're a warrior of light. You're coming with positivity. You're coming with messages. And for that, you will be blessed. I just have to say something because I feel like people don't get it. The blessings that God gives us are going to be a lot different than the blessings that Satan can give you. And I wouldn't even call them blessed. Well, Satan blesses people too. We'll put it that way. As you let go of everything that no longer fits you, the alcohol, the drugs, the friends, the dead weight, the hater ass friend, the ex who's using you, you know, once we step away from all of that, we step to ourselves. When we step to ourselves, we step to God. Choosing God is choosing ourselves, and choosing ourselves is choosing God. We are gods and goddesses, but only because God says it so. Only because we are made in his image and his likeness. That is it. God is, it's kind of like when you have a home and everybody in your home is unruly, okay? Your house is out of order. This world is out of order, okay? And God made that little deal with Satan. You can have the world, this, that, my people will know, blah, 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 okay? And what God is doing all of a sudden is he's cleaning house, okay? Part of him cleaning house is what comes with the accountability. What people really don't realize in this world is it's always like, how come God hasn't saved us? How come he hasn't saved us? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? People are always looking, and I blame this on Disney. The programming worked there. People are always looking for someone to come save them, not realizing that no one is going to save you. You are here to save you. So if you can't save yourself, you're in trouble. If you can't figure out shit in this world for yourself, you're going to have a very hard time, because loss is a part of life. Growth is a part of life. And a lot of people have that white horse. They think someone's going to ride on a white horse, looking for a savior. And that's not always the case. I've had a lot of people in my life put me down because they want to see me, and it doesn't, family, friends, whatever. I've had people try to put me down. But if I didn't have the relationship with God that I have, if I wasn't so confident in the woman that he made me to be, I might actually give a fuck about what other people say. But I don't. And I can do that. I go to sleep every single night with the peace, because I know that vengeance is the Lord's. So that's not for me to take care of. He'll handle that. I don't need to worry. Because when you're highly blessed by the best and someone steps in and tries to interfere with that in any way, shape, or form, they start to struggle. So it's like, why? Why am I going to get in it? So I can start struggling? No, I'd rather just let God take care of it so that they can struggle it out. No one is going to come in and save you. So if you can't be the warrior for yourself, there might be friends to make it easier. There might be family to make it easier. I mean, it depends. But you have to learn to be self-sufficient. You have to learn to be disobedient. You have to learn to let go when it's time to let go. And you have to know how to get in line and work things out when it's time to work things out. I love that collective message. Learning to embrace what's coming, even if it's unknown, but knowing that you have God's grace. Remember what I tell you, as long as you see sunlight, you have God's grace, okay? As long as you can see the sunlight, that's God's grace. Why do you think that when you go places like jail, they don't have windows sometimes? They don't want you to see. They don't want you to, it's all a psychological thing. But one thing that I found in reading the Bible, especially for my people that are good with like symbols or like symbolics, or like if you have the mind to connect things, you start to see how shit just makes sense. You start to see how, even though back in the day, these people could not describe some of the things couldn't really find a word for some things today, because some things didn't exist back then. You start to see the symbolisms and the descriptions, and you just start to see how it all makes sense. Okay? Okay. This is the deck that I usually use for you guys, the Oracle Energy cards. Okay, now everything's energy. So I'm going to go ahead and use these, all right? I'm feeling like we have you just got to learn to embrace the dark, y'all. Learn to embrace it. Keep dealing with that emotional intelligence, and know that something in you, January is when because I'm an empath, I see, I hear, I feel. January is when everything just got really sensitive for me. January of last year. Things just got, like, as soon as it was January, like, shit just got really sensitive for me, okay? So we have another January coming up. It's new beginnings. It's a 1 year, especially 1/11. That's a really magical day too, because you create your allergies. But it's going to be, there's going to be lots of new beginnings for people. So we are leaving this year, off strong, feeling as though, we want more authenticity, and just hold on a little bit longer, those of us that are making it through this time, because next year is going to be your new beginning. 2022 is going to be it, okay? This is awesome. I love this. Okay. Action. We just talked about this. Nobody's coming in on a white horse to save you. That horse is smoking your ass. So you better catch up. It's about action. God loves accountability. He loves when we hold ourselves accountable. He holds us accountable. Okay? So if y'all are seeing the number 33 or 333 or the numbers everywhere, that means to get your ass to action. That means stop talking about it and be about it, okay? The number on this card is 17. 1. We create what we think. Wherever our thoughts go, that's where energy flows, okay? So be very intentional coming up into this next year. What I would recommend, and I'm going to do it for myself, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write my New Year's resolutions, okay? I'm going to write the changes. When we write, we're using magic. I just want people to know, okay? That's when we write, we're using magic. Red pen if you can, please. When we write down the things that and if you really want to jazz it up, you can write down some of the things that have changed for you like ever since January of last year. Write all the new relationships, everything you lost, everything. Write it all down, because I need you to see something, okay? Write it all down. Everything that became of January 2021, okay? Now, I would say write a column of everything that was new, everything that. And if some of those were goals of yours that you accomplished, put a little star, asterisk next to them, whatever the case is, okay? On the other side, write what you would like to see come into fruition. The other part's not so much important to write in red pen. You can just write that in black pen. But write what you would like to see come into 2022. Now, if you look at these lists, you might notice that you made some goals and you crushed them. Or you might notice that you made some goals and you didn't finish them. Or you might notice that you put goals on there, but those goals weren't anything that you really wanted or anything that you still want. Because we find a lot of time people are just so worried about trying to keep up with the Kardashians. The flesh, the ego part of you will want a lot of shit that's not important. But like I said, as you move into 2 + 0 + 2 + 2, you're only going to want authentic. You're only going to want things that feed your soul, okay? 7, those rewards we talked about. When you put in the work, you receive. You get out of situations what you put into them, okay? 1 and 7 is 8. You reap what you sow. You get what you put out of shit. No one is going to save you. Princess or Prince Charming, they're not going to gallop up. If you don't save yourself in this life and you don't like your life, I'm sorry, baby, it's your fault. Once we get past 18, we have a choice. So if you're 42 and you're sitting around and you're realizing that your life isn't much, that you don't do much, you don't have much for your life, then take responsibility. Me, for example, I was been hermit since my empath and everything got all sensitive. I just sat in my house for a year. And I'm just now getting to the point to where I'm comfortable to step out because I know where I can go and I know where I can't go. I fully accepted who I am as an empath, as a healer, as a seer. I accept it all because I was born this way. And part of loving yourself, part of realizing how magical God is really is loving yourself. Because when you're so in awe of yourself, not in a cocky way, but when you're in awe of yourself as far as confidence, when you know that the sky is the limit for you, shit, maybe the limit is a little higher than the sky. You know that you're only that way because God says you are. And so I could never feel jealous. I could never feel like God wants me to just, it's all about him, blah, blah. Like, I don't feel that. I feel that he loved me enough to give me a life, to give me a purpose, to give me a plan, to help me get out of that, to help me get into the plan and to find my purpose. I feel more whole today at 32 than I ever have my whole life. But the difference between today, 32, and my whole life is I don't aim to please people, just God. And by the way I'm living, it looks like he's real pleased with me. So we have to, you have to let go of people pleasing, because you'll spend your whole life trying to please people. Your whole life. People spend probably 80% of their time trying to please someone else. I spend 100% of my time trying to please God. And I know that there's other people who do that. I know that if you're here, maybe you're in that vibration. You're doing it the right way. 4, happy family. You can't even see this. It's like translucent people. They're like translucent with a rainbow over them. God's promise that he'll never flood the land again. He always keeps his promise. I feel like people may be getting closer to their family. They may be seeing more family. They may be spending more time with the family. Everyone's kind of got like the big happy family thing going on. And when I say family, honey, I'm not talking about, it has children on here, but I'm talking about like how people get together on Christmas, which this might have a lot to do with that because it's the holiday season. But I feel like a yearning. I feel the inner child in some of us wanting to see our moms, our grandmas, our dads, our grandpas, our cousins. I feel that. Wanting those family connections, wanting to be close to our family. 4 means angels. So I feel a lot of ancestral guidance, like guardian angels, our angels, past loved ones. I feel them surrounding, the necessary families, with their families. And I see them kind of having a hand in the successes, the happy times, the moments. When all of us are together as a family, even though the ones that can't be with us physically, they're always there spiritually. And I feel like there will be a lot of that. A sense of home, just feeling like you're at home, you're at peace with the people that you're around. So I definitely encourage any, family reunions, any reunions with the family. I definitely encourage that, because I feel like as adults, we forget who we were when we were a child. And family, they can look at you and be like, are you serious? You were this way and that way. They help to identify, to put those pieces together. 3, blossoming abundance. These are blessings. That's 7 energy. But not even that, it's 3. The rewards to this life, okay, are to getting in touch with your inner child. See, the goal here in life is not to be perfect by Earth's definition. The goal here is to be perfect by our Father's definition. God's definition of perfection is wholeness. Now, if I'm going to eat a whole pizza, I'm going to eat all of it. Not a quarter piece, not half, not 3/4. I'm going to eat the whole thing. So when we think about all of this, and we think about how the goal is to come from love, be born into sin, to return to love, it's really a journey of leaving perfection, coming here, wanting perfection, because all humans want perfection. Perfection is marketed. That's why bitches are getting their noses poked and pricked, because perfection. We crave perfection, not realizing that we are already perfect, because the true definition of perfection is wholeness. When we think about things being holistic, it means whole, like a holistic doctor. So if I'm going to if I'm going to love myself, if I'm going to sit up on social media every day and take 1,000 pictures of myself, claim how I love myself. Most people, when they talk about loving themselves, they talk about loving the new body they got or the new ass they got. They love themselves now, okay? Or they throw on a fucking cake full of fucking makeup on the face, and now you're a bad bitch. You love yourself, right? Where was that energy when the makeup wasn't there, though? This is not about fucking with anyone's self-esteem. This is about being real. Where was that? Where was you at when where was all that love when the makeup wasn't there? Where was all that self-love before you got the body poked and pricked? Where was all that self-love when your nose was, when you didn't like your nose? Where was all that? If I'm going to say I love myself, and it doesn't mean that after you have those things, you can't become whole. But just follow with me. If I'm going to say I love myself, I really love myself, you have to know God. Because you will know that to fully accept yourself would be accepting your whole self. So that means that if I'm 32, I'm going to accept the part of me that's 32. But I'm also going to love the part of me that's 17. I'm also going to love the part of me that's 7. I'm also going to love the part of me that's 3. But we don't do that because we figure, okay, I'm 32 today. I don't need to think about 17-year-old me. I don't need to think about 16-year-old me. I don't need to think about... But the truth is, how do you accept yourself and love yourself, but you're not accepting the whole self? The 3-year-old you is still you. The 17-year-old you is still you. These people, they're not dying, they're just growing up, but consciousness, certain blueprints from their consciousness is still in you. It's still wired in your brain. So when I say I love myself, this is just me. I think this is the example of where it needs to get to. When I say I love myself today, but I love the 17-year-old me that was promiscuous also. You know, I love the 7-year-old me that was uncomfortable in her own skin because I just felt like I wasn't good enough. And I went to a predominantly white school. You know, you're taught with indoctrination that white is right. You know what I'm saying? That just, it comes with the territory. That's what it is, you know? And I look back on those moments and I can imagine myself at those ages, and I show so much love and I show so much compassion to those parts of me because that was still me. That's still me. So when I say I love myself, I love all of me, every age, the whole age, everything. And I want to take it back. A lot of people today, though, when they say they love themselves, they love the girl in the mirror with all the makeup on, the slutty outfit. A lot of guys, when they love themselves, they love the them that's got a bunch of money in a motherfucking picture and a fresh haircut and a fresh fit. A lot of these people don't love themselves when the camera goes off. A lot of people don't love themselves when, you know, they don't have all the money in them. A lot of men, they hate themselves when they don't have money in their pocket. Money can't buy love. It can't buy happiness. Makeup can't. I mean, we got people out here wearing so much makeup that they don't even want to wash their motherfucking face at night because they think the makeup it looks better with makeup. As we move into 2022, that shit's not going to be the move no more. It's not. And it's like, if you can't be real with yourself, if you can't be real with the 3-year-old inside of you, the you that knows you better than you know you, then how the fuck do you expect to be real with anybody else? Me, but to stay safe in my place, I don't fuck with people who don't love themselves. Because you can look at a person and tell how they feel about themselves. Everything is energy. So, and it's not a judgmental thing, but if I have positive energy and I connect myself with negative energy, I'm going to get negative energy. Any person who understands energy and understands how those things work, they would know that. At some point, it's not personal. You just have to do what's best for you. So if I love myself, I'm going to surround myself with people who love themselves, because people who love themselves, they speak positive messages because they love themselves. They love others. They care about others. Watch the people who don't speak positivity over you and your situation. Watch the people who act like they don't give a fuck in your misery. 6 years, once this heart space opens up, baby, everybody's going to get in touch with their intuition more. Because 6 is intuition. That's the number of intuition. But the reason that we're going to be able to do that is because once the heart space opens up, it connects with the mind. And now the mind and the heart work together like God intended. He intended for them to work together because it helps manifest. Having your heart and your head connected. We're taught in society to think it's either your heart or your head. And because the Bible says not to trust your heart, a lot of people count their heart out. But your heart and your head were connected to go together. Any book, any piece of research will tell you that, okay? I'm going to go ahead and pull one more card. Loving words of Jesus, loving words of Yeshua. That's 7. That's our reward for the day. I always try to sweeten the pot at the end there. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll make my own Yeshua cards because this ain't cutting it. Just looking for something a little tanner on the card. You know what I'm saying? Something a little more realistic. You know? Okay. Here we go, y'all. This says, ask and you shall receive, that your joy may be full. This is John 16:24. I love this one because it shows us how all we have to do is ask our Father. All you have to do is ask, and it's yours for the taking. I do want to tell you a couple things, though. If you ask and you do not receive it, it does not mean that God is punishing you. It does not mean that he hates you. It does not mean that he is out to get you. It's not personal. It probably means that it's not yours to have. Because you have to understand, he has a plan for us. Now, how that plan works, I mean, we have free will. So it's like, depending on what we do, he always has the best of hopes for us. But depending on what road we decide to take via free will, we might not land where he intended for us to land. That's where free will comes in. You might not be yours. That might not be why you're receiving it. Or it might be a thing where 3, the action's not lining up. Just on the Blossoming Abundance card, this is someone putting in the action, doing the work. That's just a reminder to keep it up. Keep thinking about it because that's how we manifest. Keep thinking about it. Keep speaking about it with intention of the heart. Because the heart and mind work together to manifest. And put in whatever action necessary. Do your part so that God can do his. We have to have a good rapport and we have to have a relationship with him to even receive. Some of our relationships with him may have been light, but as we move into 6, because 6 does have some negative aspects. It has some negative aspects. We want to think about what 6 means as far as spending time with our inner child, self-love, growth. Then we want to think about how 6 can be used in a negative aspect. No growth, stagnance, refusing to get close to God, or actually going to the dark side, being a little spawn of Satan. Not loving the self, but rejecting the self, so much so that you might not identify with yourself. 6 can show up in some heavy ways. That's why a lot of people are scared of 666. Can show up, and that number 6 can show up in some heavy ways. 666 is not anything to be scared of, because really, but like I said, when you refer to it in a negative aspect, 6 catches a lot of negative heat, but that's just because people have no knowledge. For my people perish for lack of knowledge. Life is all about studying. I study 1,000 things a day, dude. I love y'all. I love you all. And I hope that everyone has a blessed night. I want to do a 2022 for the signs, but I want to do it live because I want to feel the energy. I want to be in it. So I'm going to see if that's something that I'm going to do. I don't want to record it. I want to start doing more things live, probably via my Facebook or my Instagram. But I love everyone. I hope that everyone has a blessed night, a positive day, and I love y'all.